Hi everyone, welcome to our 6 month review of our custom Digiprint Bauer Hyperlite 2 set. Time is absolutely flying. I can't believe it's been 6 months already since we started using this kit. I've had a lot of fun testing it out. So in this video, I'm just going to break down the specs that I chose for the equipment and how it's all held up over the last 6 months. But to begin with, I just wanted to touch on the actual graphics themselves. I worked with Alex Birch to design the set. The skull and the Colorado mountains on there I've got on all of my helmet designs. I have done for the last 20 years or so. So Alex did a great job sort of capturing that and putting it onto the pad and glove graphics there. So big shout out to Alex Birch there. If you wanted to get your own sort of custom graphics done on some kit, definitely give Alex a shout to work with you on that. So let's move on to the leg pads. In terms of specs, the leg pads are pretty far away from stock Hyperlites. Not that there was anything wrong with them, but if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that I like a bit more of a stiffer leg pad. So construction wise, I've got the ultrasonic flex. So from the brake upwards, they're basically an ultrasonic with like a mid-stiff flex to the core. And from the brake downwards, the pads are basically a Mac. So a bit more of a Supreme than a Vapor on the pads overall, although they say Hyperlite 2 on them. They are a hybrid of ultrasonic and Mac, and that's just to keep the mid stiff on the top end and the steep stiff boot at the bottom end, as well as the Mac strapping, which, having tested the two over the last couple of years between Hyperlite and Mac, I did prefer the Supreme strapping setup there. So credit to the Bauer customizer, they allow you to make this many changes. Not many brands will let you do that. And build a pad exactly how you like it. So yeah, it's been absolutely perfect. I've got the stabler slide from the Supreme line as well, which has been my favorite part of the leg pad, just the stability that it gives you there. But in terms of how they've held up, this is my first Bauer set that I've owned. Obviously, I've tested some demo sets, all of which I've loved, but this is the first set I've actually ordered for myself. And I was a bit hesitant at first because I've heard some stories about the durability of Bauer leg pads in the past and them not being too great, but I've got nothing bad to say about these whatsoever. They've held up great. They've got some puck marks on them, as you'd expect. I wouldn't be doing my job properly if they didn't have any puck marks on them. So, but there's been absolutely no durability issues whatsoever. No cracks in the surface, in the fabric, no sort of boot splits, nothing at all. The only thing you can see, and I use these quite a lot, is just a tiny bit of wear on the nylon binding there, but there's no holes there, it's just a bit of wear, and that's pretty normal after sort of 6 months of heavy use. So if that's the worst thing that I can tell you about these leg pads, then I'd say we're pretty successful on there. We've got absolutely no wear on the corners here, which you normally get on leg pads with a lot of use. No wear to the leather on the toe either. So really impressed with how these have held up. They're still maintaining their stiffness quite well. They haven't sort of gone soft and floppy at all. So yeah, can't say enough good things about how these leg pads have held up. So if we move on to the catcher, the only thing I changed on the catcher is Pro palm with the Defense Cloud Tech in the palm there. I felt that the retail palm was just a little bit too thin for me with some of the shooters that I face. So I just beefed that up to a Pro palm, which took an extra couple of weeks to break in and soften up. But once it did, again, it's absolutely perfect. Absolutely love this glove. There's no issues with palm cracks. There's no wear on it whatsoever. Normally you get wears on this part of the heel of the palm there, but you've got nothing at all there. It's held up really well. Yep, on the inside there's no damage to the material inside there, no holes forming or anything there. There's no wear spots. Again, this has been a really nice glove to use. It's just a standard Hyperlite, sort of 60-degree break with a Pro palm. That's really the only change I made to it. And sort of reinforcements to the T as well. I think that's the only other thing I added, is just some reinforcements to both sides of the T there, just to make it last a bit longer. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for the glove as well, can't complain. As we move on to the blocker, it performs really well. The palm has been great, you can see there, even with use. I mean, I use lizard skin tape, which really helps to protect the palm of gloves, both for players and goalies. I'd really recommend that. Doesn't wear the palm quite as much as normal grip tape or stick tape does. So if you are going to change the grip to your stick, I would definitely recommend lizard skin for that. So actually no issues with the palm, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows all round. About 9 skates in, I did have a bit of a durability issue with the blocker. We have 2 bits of elastic that hold the cuff onto the board there. and about sort of 8 or 9 hours in, this side completely snapped off, which unexpected, especially so early on. And I was a bit disappointed. I thought, a bit worried about what this was going to mean for the durability of the entire set. But that's the only issue that I've had. And reporting it to Bauer straight away, they sent me another one. Like, it took a couple of months to arrive, so I did use the broken one for a couple more months with no issues. But they did send me a replacement, no questions asked, just with a few photos and some information about the specs. They sent me a replacement, so 10 out of 10 for Bauer and their customer service there, for sort of making sure that goalies are looked after. If there is a defect with kit, they will replace it straight away, as long as you go through the proper channels and deal with it in the right way. So this one, I've only used about sort of 6-7 times, but there's been no issues. You can see that elastic is still holding on strong there. Maybe for future sets in sort of future vapor lines, they could sort of address that and maybe reinforce it so it doesn't happen again. I don't know if that's a common issue. I've not seen it anywhere else. I might have just been unlucky. But yeah, in terms of how it performs, love it. Really light blocker, really nice and responsive. And you know, once we got over the durability issue and got a replacement, there's been no other problems there. So overall, I've got to give this set a strong 9.5 out of 10. I think, having not had that durability issues, I don't think I could find any problems with it at all. Normally after about 6 months or so, I tend to move a set on to a new owner, but this set I'm going to be keeping around for a long time, and that should speak to how much I think of it, that I'm actually going to keep it around for a while. I'm not going to move it on and use it to get a new set of something. So nothing but praise for Bauer. My first Bauer set, definitely won't be my last. I'm very highly impressed. If you have any questions or comments, please drop me a message or leave it in the comments below. Please give us a follow on both Instagram and YouTube, and please stay tuned for more videos coming over the next few months.